Can you tell me what your name is?
Hannah.
Hannah. And how old are you, Hannah?
3.
3 years old. And what kinds of things do you like to do at preschool?
Go to recess.
Go to recess? Sure. Is there anything that you like about going to church here at Faith? What do you like about church?
I eat donuts.
You eat donuts. Did you come to donut night last night?
Yeah.
Was the donut tasty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a special donut or a regular donut?
I like your donut.
And Hannah, do you know what you might want to be when you grow up?
Still Hannah.
I think that's the best thing.
Pretty good answer, huh? Still Hannah. Well, it's time for us to hear from her parents, Heath and Christy, who have recently become followers of Christ, but they have been willing to tell you about what occurred in their life before then. So Heath and Christy, thank you for sharing with us this morning.
Good morning. I'm Heath Burrows, and this is my beautiful wife, Christy. Until about 4 years ago, we had never given much thought on the issue of abortion. We just knew there was a lot of people that were pro-life, pro-choice, and not a lot of middle ground. When I met Christy, I was going through a nasty divorce and didn't have much hope in my life at the time. And I was not a Christian. I didn't believe in a lot, and I definitely didn't have any idea what God had planned for me. But Christy stood beside me and helped me get through that tough time. In May of 2011, Christy revealed that she was pregnant, and at that point I was still going through my divorce. I already had 2 boys. Christy had a daughter from a previous marriage. If we had the child that Christy was carrying, that would make 4 kids total, and in my mind there was no way that could happen. It was way too many kids. I just didn't want to have to deal with the headaches and responsibilities of having another child, but Christy felt differently.
I wanted to keep the child, so we talked about it for what seemed like forever, and ultimately we made a decision to schedule the appointment. In Heath's eyes, abortion was the only good option. I was not fond of the idea at all, but I agreed that we were not in a financial position to raise a child. We were barely making it as it was. So we made the quiet journey, no one talked the entire way there, down I-65 to Planned Parenthood in Indianapolis. The trip was anything but joyful.
Once we checked in at the clinic, we were given some flyers and pamphlets which we looked at. They were disgusting, graphic, but we were there. We'd already paid to have our child aborted, so it was too late. They finally called Christy back to have the abortion, and about 30 minutes later, she came out crying. I didn't know what to do, so I hugged her, thinking that it was already done. But then Christy proceeded to tell me that they couldn't do the procedure because she was too far along, exactly 1 week too far along. The ironic thing was that we had an appointment the previous week, but we had car troubles and couldn't make it. So the clinic refunded our money and we went home. We decided that it was meant to be and we would have this child no matter what, and we would simply make the best of it.
So fast forward to today. Our daughter Hannah will be turning 4 in just 3 days on January 20th. She's so smart, super bright, and just the best thing that's happened to us. She's currently enrolled in preschool at Faith and participates in Wednesday night Kids of Faith. Hannah's helped us to understand that God's ways are higher than our ways. He has a plan for every life, including Hannah's life, even before she was Hannah. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand."
And since the time that Hannah was born, the Lord has changed our life dramatically. Christy and I got involved in marriage counseling here at Faith with Lee Morrison. And through that process, we both decided to trust Christ as our Savior. We became members of the church just over a year ago, and we're so thankful for the many opportunities to serve alongside others. God is so great. Because of the way that He has worked in our lives, we are now totally pro-life. We believe strongly that every child deserves a chance to live and discover what God has in store for them. We are eternally grateful for the grace and mercy of God for the way He has preserved the life of our little daughter.
Thank God for car trouble, huh? I really appreciate Heath and Christy. They told me that story last fall. They didn't have to, of course, but they passed that along to me, and I thought, what a fitting story to hear today. Aren't you glad that Hannah gets to be still Hannah? And aren't you glad that in the sovereignty of God, she was allowed to live? You know, a few weeks back, our family, we had everybody in for Christmas. My wife, Chris, took this picture, but our daughter, Karis, is there. Her husband, Austin, was serving as a policeman here. He wasn't on that trip. But Bethany, our other daughter, and her husband, Rob, holding our grandson, Liam. Sweet time as a family. And I was, just a few minutes after that picture was taken, putting Liam in the car. And I don't know why, because I hadn't been thinking about abortion that day. We hadn't been talking about it. But just looking at just the sweetness and the innocence of a child, I thought, who in the world could ever take the life of a baby? How could you possibly get to the place ethically or morally where you would believe that it was okay to take another child's life?